Hello, this video is for Mars-Jupiter conjunction. I've just done the video for indications of both. Let's have a look at the ascendants now. Okay, so actually, we've just had this in the sky, Jupiter and Mars, for a while, but it was difficult to get really good fruits from it because we had Saturn and Rahu hemming the two. But anyway, so for Aries ascendant, well, this is going to be quite an amazing thing because whichever way you look at it, this is going to be the first house ruler Mars with ninth house ruler, which is like Jupiter. So it's going to create a really nice Dana yoga for wealth and Raja yoga for success, achievement, being quite accomplished. However, even if we look at the difficult side of things, so one rules the 8th house, one rules the 12th house, even the two of them together can bring quite good riches in a way as well, because it kind of brings together 8th and 12th house. That creates a Viparit Raja yoga. So through some difficulties, they have really good success. And if this occurs in, for example, if it occurs in the first house, and although in the fourth house, excuse me, Mars will be debilitated and Jupiter will be exalted. So I don't think we're going to take that as, because even though that debilitation will actually be cancelled by sitting with an exalted planet, I still think it's better if the planets are both empowered. It'd be amazing in Leo, because the nature of Leo is fiery, and the two planets are fiery too. So that will be pretty good. It can work okay as well in Scorpio. However, at the end of the day, Scorpio is it's a bit of a karmic sign. I don't think it's terrible, but it's probably better if it wasn't there. But definitely, as I said, in Sagittarius too, and it's pretty good also in Pisces. So. But the most excellent will be in the first house and in fifth, or in the trinal. So first, fifth, and ninth house. That'd be amazing, and that would just create massive amount of things for it as well. And obviously, it's going to, what it will do, it will also put the aspect of those two planets on 7 houses from there too. So that will be Jupiter will, particularly if Jupiter was strong, like in those houses, first, fifth, and ninth, the trinal, it will actually activate the houses opposite really nicely too, because they will be quite strong in those, and they will create nice yogas for you. Right, for ascendant Taurus. For Taurus, this will be, Jupiter is not a good planet, is 8th and 11th house ruler. So 11th house is Upachaya house, and desire houses, which are like Kama houses, they're a bit difficult because they're always going to give you some level of difficulties to get what you want, really. So, they have to wait for the fruits to arrive. And obviously, it's also involves 8th house. So it's going to be like quite malefic house as well, so another house that's quite difficult. But then Mars also rules 12th house for these people, and the 7th house, so their relationships can create issues in that sense, because Jupiter is not a good planet for them. Mars is obviously not a bad planet, 7th and 12th house really, it's not too bad, but all their relationship could have like something secret about them. They could be ups and downs, they could be they go through these transformational things in relationships in order to get things right. There could be issues with their in-laws, it could be an issue with an elder sibling, with groups of friends, that kind of thing. But nonetheless, though, because they both they work well, as there's a confluence between the two of them. So it will also, if they happen to be in Sagittarius, which is the 8th house, they would be amazing at the occults, actually, because it brings together the natural ruler of the 8th house and natural ruler of the 9th house. So it could be quite a spiritual person. They could, through sort of knowledge and study and research, and they can literally change their belief systems and become quite spiritual as well in that sense. That could happen particularly in Pisces. Pisces is such a spiritual sign for them. and it'll be obviously for them, if this happens like in, say, for example, Leo, even though Mars will feel like debilitated because it's the fourth house, but it's in a friendly sign. It's getting, it's and also Jupiter will support it too. So although there'll be some difficulties and everything else, but they can suddenly gain a home, inherit a home, that kind of thing. And the sign is quite good for the both of them, if you like. It'll be quite good also in their seventh house in that sense, because of Mars rules there. But we've had this situation where Mars, if it's in certain houses, it's going to give you like issues with relationships and kujodosh, but I think because Jupiter is there, Jupiter will help it in that sense. But however, it's a karmic thing with Taurus ascendants, that some of them, depending on the chart, but generally speaking, they're partners, because seventh house rule also rules 12th house. They are going to go through some issues to do with relationships. And if there are females as well, Jupiter, because also Jupiter is indicator of husband material, if you like, for a Taurus ascendant female. So it will just be that there are some things that they have to learn regarding their relationships, so generally speaking, it's something that they have to go through anyway. But the two planets, particularly if they're in good situation, I think it's pretty good there, really. Although obviously they have Rahu, but yeah, so it's something that they have to go through. So yeah. So next one, let's go to Gemini ascendant. For Gemini ascendant, this will be Jupiter is very strong planet for them, rules 7th and the 10th house, so really important planet. But unfortunately, what happens is Mars rules difficult houses. So rules 6th house and also 11th house. So 6th house is going to break all the yogas, and they really have to work at it hard. And as time goes by and they learn how to deal with the obstacles of life and get themselves, look at how they actually contribute to their own sort of obstacles and stuff, then they learn the tricks of the life and how to navigate through life, because life is just like being on a boat, and you're just going through waters that you're unfamiliar with. So we learn things as we go along, and actually it's nice to enjoy the journey, just think of it as an adventure. And we never die, we just recycle, and so there's plenty of time to learn everything. So don't feel as though I'm missing out. You're not missing out. Nobody's missing out. Anyway, so in this terms, for these people, if there is a conjunction of the 10th house ruler and the 6th house ruler, so that their job is very service oriented. They're obviously, they could be in paramedics, police, they could be like a soldier, they could be like a surgeon, that kind of thing could be part of their job. And particularly if Mars is in good condition, then that'll be absolutely amazing. So yeah, that could be quite good in terms of they could really give a lot back to their society. They could be fantastic litigators. And these people, sometimes it's really good for them to be there for a cause. So they if they wanted to help people through litigation, really unfortunate people, and they could really help them navigate themselves through the system of the bar system, that's really how they can actually manifest really good things in their life. But yeah, in terms of work and everything else, it'll be amazing. Now, because also it's the 7th house ruler as well with Mars, obviously Mars is going to just like, there could be some issues to do with like relationships, but they do really well to have the wisdom of time, and just allow the Jupiter to just bring the logic of Mars and the wisdom and knowledge of Jupiter together in order to achieve what you want. And in that sense will be really good. They'd be fantastic sports people too. So next one, Cancer. So for Cancer ascendant, Mars is an amazing planet. It's the yoga karaka planet, but being with Jupiter, even though Jupiter rules the trine, 9th house, but rules the 6th house, so it can create difficulties. But obviously Mars will be you know, Mars will be really, as long as, you know, obviously this is, you just got to realize that it's going to take time to get better, because just there are some lessons to be learned in the sixth house things, getting into debt. It could be that Jupiter actually makes them get into debt and they learn how to manage money. You know, they can invest money, like, because Mars rules fifth house, and that could be like an issue. But it could just be that literally in their job, they're educators, they could be teachers, philosophers, they could also be professors, definitely can be in litigation as well, because obviously Jupiter rules sixth and ninth house, and those are both to do with that, those kind of houses and jobs as well. But their job could be very much to do like with military too, fighting battles, stuff like that. And if Mars is in, you know, good condition, Mars will be brave to deal with all the difficulties that soldier or policeman or emergency firefighter, that kind of thing, will be really good. Okay, Leo ascendant. So this will bring together fifth and eighth house ruler Jupiter and yoga karaka planet Mars together. So fourth and ninth house ruler. This is just going to be amazing, because together they create really amazing yogas. Fourth and fifth house ruler together is a Raja Yoga of success, and fifth house ruler then being, you know, with like ninth house ruler, that and if first house will be in it as well. It's good for money, it's good for all sorts of things, you know. This is going to be really nice. Eighth house doesn't spoil anything, but what it will do, create some sort of, like, it could be that they could be like, for example, it could be a surgeon or something, if it's to do with like work, if the aspect in like the 10th house or aspect, yeah. So, but generally speaking, this is pretty amazing. And if it occurs in Leo, for example, it would be amazing. If it's Scorpio, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Aries, all of those will be really, really nice for these ascendants. So it is pretty nice. It can give them many, many good things. Next ascendant, Virgo. For the ascendant, obviously Jupiter rules fourth and seventh house. Mars is not a good planet. It's a third and also eighth house ruler. So these people could, what happens is they could always be moving. Third house is like 12 houses from the fourth house. They're constantly moving. It could also be a situation where the mother has had issues, you know, because what happens is Jupiter is like the fourth house ruler, and Mars is with it, which is like eighth. And so the mother could have had some real ups and downs in their life. So you got to see other things in the chart, but it could just be that they could have moved away from homeland too. And it could just be that somebody who is also likes to develop houses, sell them and go, if he's got a connection to the 10th house. But on the whole, though, you know, things will improve, because third house is an upachaya house with like learning skills, knowledge, just like working with others, and just being open to the fact that things can change. Then their life can be, you know, it can be pretty good. And obviously it's you have to look after your kind of mom, your car. Just be careful, because Mars is with fourth house ruler. So Mars is also indicator of accidents, so that, you know, just be careful when you're driving. Make sure your car is in good order all the time. Look after your mum, look after your own mental health, that kind of thing. But Jupiter will bless Mars, so, you know, but Mars can be like, because it's not a good planet for this, they could just be overthinking a little bit, because Mars, you know, Jupiter expands everything, and thinking process is third house, like how. But they could also become really avid writers. You know, they could write very unusual sort of novels and things, if you like. So in that sense, if it's got anything to do with 10th house or anything like that. But generally, it'll be really good in houses, like, for example, that will be quite good in the 7th house. even though, you know, Mars is there. But it's as I said, it's not a really good planet for them, and I wouldn't want to say it's really good in Sagittarius, because what happens is in Sagittarius, it's a seven, you know, it's fourth house, so it's like, you know, your security. However, some people might have that. But what could happen with this, if it is actually in the 10th house, Jupiter will then be aspecting the fourth house, looking after it, and Mars will have directional strength, and that makes Mars even better than being exalted. So that will be the situation. But sheer fact that they're, you know, Mars is not a good planet for you guys, it can give a little bit of difficulty. So next one. Let's go to Libra. For Libra, obviously, Jupiter is not a good planet at all. Rules 2 upper houses, 3rd and 6th house. These people have to get brave, have to get get to really take notice of their own health, well-being, how their communication skills and things like that. And Mars is obviously 2nd and 7th house ruler. So once they actually it's actually going to be Mars that's going to help Jupiter in this case, you know, by putting their valor and their will and logic into, you know, putting that effort, getting brave and all of that. They could actually end up working for themselves, start their own business, particularly if that is going to be like a connection to this, yeah, obviously aspect in the 10th house or something. Yeah, that could definitely be the case. But generally speaking, 3rd and 6th house would be somebody who put an effort into working and service, and they could have their own business. But yeah, so in a sense, though, you wouldn't want the 7th house ruler being in the 6th house like this one. It would not be great. But if Mars was, both of them were actually in Sagittarius, that would be really good, because Mars is really amazing in the 3rd house. So, but it will give you problems with the siblings. However, it gives you also the will to push ahead. So that in that sense will be really good, and they become really brave because of that. And the other houses that would be good, obviously it'll be good in let's see, what house will it be good? It'd be good in the 11th house, actually. That would be amazing. In Leo will be good. Just trying to think, you know, sometimes for some ascendants, they're just not particularly good planets together, really. Okay, because also, you know, it looks rules 6th house. It just can be that they could have argumentative partners. You know, they can or always want to argue or be right in an argument with their partner as well, because Jupiter rules the 3rd house. So yeah. Too much it can be, yeah, so you got to just like use the good side of Jupiter, really. Okay, so Scorpio ascendant, this is going to be amazing, isn't it? Because it's going to be like 1st house ruler with, you know, in that house, but then he rules 6th house as well. What happens with Scorpio ascendants, they're naturally can't help it. They're just very competitive. They make fantastic sports people. And, you know, this is like a perfect thing. You can see 5th and 6th house, sporty, but competitive as well. So this person will particularly, you know, and this is sign of feet as well. They could be really good footballers. You know, I think Cristiano Ronaldo might have something similar to that. I'm not sure, can't remember. But yeah, it's just, you know, that could be the case. But also, it can be a very good advisor, very good teacher, very good soldier, and all that kind of thing. But obviously, it brings 6th house into with a family, ruler of the 2nd house and ruler of the 5th house. So there could be the whole family could be quite competitive, quite sporty, argumentative, but because they're good together as well, it could just be that they have arguments and the air is cleared, all out the way, all done and dusted. You know, that's the nature of Mars. Mars, unless, you know, if it was in Scorpio, it's like holds on to that feeling, but in signs that are out, you know, they could just like let it out. They don't hold on to anything. It's out in the open, and then, you know, it's all done and dusted. But yeah, it does break the fruits that Jupiter can bring for them, unfortunately. Yes, for sure. And next one, Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, this is going to be quite nice because it's first and fourth house ruler, fifth house ruler, and 12th house ruler. 12th house doesn't really break any yogas. So this is going to be one of those, it's a little bit like Aries ascendant. They can really benefit, or yeah, Aries and Leo are the same as well. So all the fiery signs can do really well with this. So it's going to be pretty good in whatever sense, really, because unless if it goes into the sixth house, which is Taurus. And yeah, so pretty good. And I also don't think it's good in the second and eighth house, you know, even though like makes one exalted, the other one debilitated. We don't want that. But generally speaking, though, it is pretty good. It's going to be give the person, put a lot of effort into like their home, into their family, into their work, into their children, into just being happy. They, you know, they're very devoted then, because a lot of Jupiter's optimism and creating opportunities goes into the family, into romance, love, looking after their kids. Yeah. So it will be pretty good in that sense. Okay, for the next ascendant, Capricorn ascendant. So Jupiter is not a good planet for Capricorn. Mars is not too bad because it rules 4th and 11th house. So although 11th house, you know, Upachaya house, and it can be a little bit desire based, but nonetheless, though, it's not too bad. But these people could gain a lot and then waste it, because the 12th house of Sagittarius being the 12th house. And yeah, so that could be like a little bit like Mars will be working really hard to bring this, and then Jupiter could just like kind of waste that. So for these two, for that reason, it will not be very good. And so yeah, so I think it could be a little bit like too much into not really finishing things, because what happens is 3rd and 12th house ruler Jupiter can be very start a lot of things, but not, you know, if Jupiter is in a poor state, doesn't finish things. So that can also be like they always got like one foot in the past, you know, I should be doing that. There's a little bit of guilt thing going on as well, particularly if, you know, if they're not in good condition. But at the end of the day, you know, if it is in certain houses, it will actually work pretty well. I mean, actually, they might work pretty not too bad if it was in, say, for example, in Scorpio itself, it could be not too bad, but they will literally have issues with spending and not, you know, that kind of thing. But Mars will give Jupiter the will to finish things, to, you know, be better at communication and all of that, because Jupiter is just not a good planet for them. Aquarius. For Aquarius ascendant, this obviously Jupiter is money-making planet, and so Mars also rules 3rd and 10th house. So they're both important planets. So they could work, you know, because also 3rd house is putting effort into things, learning skills, doing, you know, just a multi-skilled person. And so they could be an artist, communicator, inspirational talker, that kind of thing. And that they could earn their own money that way. They could earn money through their speech, through singing, you know, being really good advisors, inspire people, really. So yeah, it could be pretty good there. And if it's in houses like, for example, in the 7th house, again, I know it's like Kujadosha, you know, I don't really, in this day and age, I just think we need some sort of malefic stuff in our chart to give us the strength to move ahead. But Jupiter is also there, you know, Jupiter will bless the 7th and the 1st house by being there in the 7th house. It'll be pretty good also if it is in Pisces. It'll be good in Scorpio. It'll be good in Sagittarius. In Scorpio, in the 10th house, Mars will be in own sign. It'll have directional strength as well. So that's going to be pretty amazing there. But obviously, if it goes in the 3rd house, they both, you know, they will be in good condition, but it will give problems with the in Aries with siblings. But I mean, I find that it's just the one time, and it's good after that. You get you get the knowledge, you get the you get to have that humble pie, and all is good. Right, Pisces ascendant, Jupiter and Mars. So Mars is a very, very good planet for these people, second and ninth house ruler, as is Jupiter. Jupiter first and 10th house ruler. So together they create these multiple, like, I mean, if Jupiter is strong, it would be like you have these Mahapurush yogas. If Mars is strong, another, Mahapurush yoga, it just creates success, creates money, wealth, wisdom, recognition, accomplishment, money. I've already said that. Yeah. So brilliant for Pisces ascendant indeed. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.